Okay, so let's start putting some of this stuff together here and let's actually make something. Okay, so this one's a quiz and it gets a little more complex, but it's going to start taking some of the stuff that we've talked about and putting it into an actual little program. So this is a quiz and there's two sections of scripting for this. So you have to be able to create a prompt that's going to ask the question, right? And then you've got to tell the user that they've either gotten the question right or wrong. And then you have to be able to tell them what their score is, right? So there are two script tags that are built into here right now. And the first one is up in the head tag. Typically JavaScript, well, it can be in the head or the body. But what we're going to do is we're going to put part of the script up in the head and the other part is going to be down in the body. All right, so look for the first script tag. It's up here, I don't know, maybe around line 8, I don't know. But so the first thing we're going to do is, and I've already typed the script out because I was like, okay, I've got to familiarize myself with this. So there's the script, the first part of the script, okay? So what it is first off, we've got to say, okay, we're going to create a variable called score. And this is what's going to keep track of how many correct answers there are. So right now it's set at 0. Okay, so variable score. And remember, that's just how we're defining it. It's not, you don't think of that as equal. Equal comes, this is equal. This is what we call equal. 2 equal signs, that's equal. All right, I know. So that we're defining variable score as 0. Now, we have questions, and in order to do the questions, you have to put it in an array, and actually it's a nested array. So we define it as being an array, so that's what these square brackets are right here. So here and here, those are the square brackets, and then each question is array unto itself. Why? Because you have to be able to give the answer. So how many moons does the Earth have, comma, and then 1, that's the answer, 1. So it's a nested array. Now, because it's nested, it means that the question is, remember, considered 0 placed. Its placement is 0, and the answer is 1. Why? This is going to be important because we're going to use that. So we're going to call, when we call up question and we call placement 1, we're referring to the answer of the question. But this is going to make sense as we go into it. So there are 3 questions, and they're also in square brackets. Again, they're arrays within inside of array. So it's how many moons does the Earth have? 1. How many moons does Saturn have? 31. How many moons does Venus have? 0. Now, notice there's commas after the first and second, but nothing after the third because there's nothing else after it. And there's the end. That's the block of code. There's the curly brace, right? Now, the next thing we want, and I do like to usually space these out so you can see them clearer. All right, so the next thing is we have to tell it to actually ask a question. And so this is where we need a prompt. Remember, we looked at a prompt. The prompt is what will come up and give you can ask a question. So we're going to create a function. And the function is, and the book probably does a better job of explaining it. So what we're going to do is we're going to call, we're going to ask a question, okay? And we're calling up the variable question. So ask question, and we're going to call up the variable. We're going to call up this array right here. So the function is ask question, and it's going to be, we're calling, this is what the method, essentially, this is what we're going to do. And then it's followed by a curly brace. All right, so what we're doing is we have another variable called answer. This is where the prompt comes up. So what it's going to say is, it's going to say prompt, and we're going to ask for question 0. Remember, this refers to this position. So question, and then when we say this, it means, okay, we want you to call up this position of the array. And then we leave it blank because it's going to fulfill. This is going to come into play later. All right. So now it says we're going to do an if-else statement. So it's going to say if they got the question And now this is what this 1 is. That's if they got the answer. Remember, position 1 right here, position 1 of question. This is the variable. And I'm just wondering why it doesn't say questions, but we'll see. Did I mistype it? Oh, I think it'll work fine. So, I should look at that. Hold on. Variable questions, length questions. Okay, so it says if, nope, it says question. Okay, so question. All right, I did type it right. Okay, so we're here. So it says if answer equals the answer number, that's the answer, then you get alert, you got it correct. And then they add 1 to this, which is currently set at 0, and adds 1 to it. So it would become 1. Else, it's going to say, nope, sorry, you got it wrong. And then it's going to say, it's going to tell you then the answer, right? So it's going to say the correct answer is, and then it's going to come here and say, oh, it's this answer. So now what we do is, how we get this to run is we do a for loop, and it says, all right, so this is it's going to we're making a new variable called I, and it's going to say, it's going to pull in whatever the length of the questions are. Remember, length refers to how long the array is. Well, it's 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to say, we're going to start with 0. That's this question, and we know what the length is, and every time we're going to add 1. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3. And it's just going to say add. So each time, each pass, it's going to add 1. So it starts with 0, first question. Then it's going to say we're going to add 1. So I'm going to go to question 2, then question 3. But after length then limits it. It says it's only going to go for the length. So it's only 3. After that, it stops because it's going to say 4, and this is what it's doing. It's going to ask the questions, right? Does that make sense? Hopefully. All right, so this is that script. That goes up in the head. Now, what we have to do is we have to go down here, and of course, I never did check to see if this works, but that's okay. I'm assuming it did because I type. I don't think I made any mistakes, but that's the joy of it. We'll figure it out if I do. All right, so now what we have to do in the actual body is we're going to put another script tag, and this one's just easy because it's going to do, because in the body it's going to say, hey, so we're going to just get what it should do is we're going to get little prompt boxes. We're going to answer the questions. It's going to tell us if we got it wrong or right. But then what's going to happen in the body, the actual body on the website is, hey, we've got a message you got, and then it's going to say whatever our score is after it calculates it. And then it's going to be message. Then it's going to say it's going to give you a message. It's going to write this message, okay? So it's going to tell us we've got a score out of, you got so many correct answers. That's what this is. So variable message you've got plus your score out of questions correct. And it's going to be in a p tag. So let's take a look at it. So that's the second script right there. You guys, you should know that easily, right? So that's the second script. Thankfully, you can shut this off and get this typed in. But let's go ahead and see. Let me make sure I save this. File, save. All right, so that's saved. Let me go find my file. This is in chapter 3, allow blocked content. How many moons does the Earth have? 1. So there's our prompt. Correct. Yay. Next one. How many moons does Saturn have? I will just get it wrong on purpose. Sorry, the correct answer is 31. Okay. How many moons does Venus have? 0. Say okay. Correct. All right. Now, you got 2 out of 3 questions correct. So take a screenshot of that, submit it, and that's the assignment. I don't need to see if you got to this, then I know, well, that's not true. Probably should take a screenshot of at least one of the questions. Okay, so let's run it again. So give me a screenshot, show me one of your prompts, and then show me what your score is. Okay, and I'm going to get 0. Okay, so give me that one prompt and do that, okay? And that's what you're going to submit for this, but that pretty much completes assignment 1.5, all right? If you have any questions, let me know.